Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what I think's going to happen. Hey, we've been talking about fashion on the show from time to time because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that. If you're new to the channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. Oh boy, what a week. That's all I can say. What another sleepy and frustrating week. So it's been sleepy and now I'm adding frustrating. I, I just can't keep up with the show, like what they're doing and their rationale, their logic. I don't get it. All right. So before we get into all things Y&R, couple of disclaimers. If you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up on your own, this may not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And if I happen to not mention something in particular, it could be I plumb forgot, or I really just didn't think it was newsworthy, so I didn't even bother mentioning it. Nature of the beast is what it is. That's what I like to say. And if you do like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe and also the bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. So let's see where we're going to go this week because I don't know. It's a bunch of craziness yet again. Can we not have like a stable week where, okay, we finish a story, we move on to the next, nice free flowing. This manic type, storylines, it's beyond me. All right. So beginning of the week, we pretty much saw what would be the ending of Nikki's party. Yeah. So of course we already went through the best dressed and worst dressed of that evening. Oh boy. I'm not even gonna get into that. It is what it is. Where I don't know what was going on with the stylist, but if it was me and it wasn't me, I would have totally switched it up. Okay, so they're ending Nikki's party. Kyle had already given his, speech about how he thought Nikki was like the greatest, blah, blah, blah. We see Cole. I mean, what's going on with Cole? Like, this guy's like, oh, I just need to lay down. I just need to rest. Come on. So what cracked me up is that at one point in time, Victor, Nick, Adam, they were holding up Cole and, put him to sit down. And then next thing you know, Victoria and Claire, they come to, albeit Cole's rescue, and they usher him off because he says he just needs to go and rest. Nikki's like, oh, I hope he'll be okay. So sad about Cole. Honestly, if you noticed, the music had stopped when Cole was like hacking up a lung. And then as soon as he like went up the stairs, the music resumed. I mean, what? Like, no big deal. And it was this whole thing about, well, I hope Cole's okay, like, wow, geez, he can't really shake what's going on with him. As I told you, apparently, like the word on the street is they're going to do like some sort of pandemic thing. I don't know. Don't know if that would be in great taste, but such is life. So now we learn a little bit more because there was a doctor that had come to do a house visit. Where this doctor came from, I know they called a doctor and said that he could be seen, but I didn't know he was making a house visit. Oh well. And he's like checking his chest with the stethoscope, and he's like, I don't like what I'm hearing. I don't like the sound of his chest. And of course, Claire and Victoria are looking like aghast, like, oh. He's like, I think it sounds like it could be pneumonia. Dum dum dum. Yes, could be pneumonia. Who knows if it's something else? And of course, Claire and Victoria have now gone to, the worst case scenario that probably Cole's gonna pop off. all we do know in reality, pneumonia is very serious, and people can unfortunately pass away from such an illness. This is TV land, who knows? Now, I haven't heard any word on the street that they're getting rid of his character, but if they did get rid of his character, personally, like there would be no love lost because he really hasn't been doing much in the show. He was gone for a while, and then next thing you know, he comes back with this, ghastly cough. I don't know. So we'll see what happens to old Coley Cole and see if he's going to actually make it. Because now he's like, oh, it's worse than it was before. Oh, 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 but I'm so glad that I have you guys with me. Okay, now you had a tender-hearted moment. Cole, are you passing off or like what's going on here? I don't know. Moving right along, we did see, this is still party mode, if you will. We did see Chelsea and Adam having, the conversation, of course, regarding Billy. At this point, do we even care? I know I don't, because this is just silliness. And Adam's got some sort of plan, and now the whole thing is because everybody else got an invitation to go to Nice to like the invitation for Aristotle Dumas. Honestly, side note, I heard his last name pronounced so many different ways this week from people. I was cracking up. I'm like, you guys can't even figure out how you're supposed to call this guy's name. Aristotle Dumas. Dumas. So everybody has an invitation. So now in Adam's brain, Victor is going to be so focused on Aristotle that he won't have time to focus on Billy. So then Adam's little master plan, whatever that was, should like ride the waves and everything should be all and well with the world, and that he doesn't really have to do anything. So of course Chelsea is just reminding him, you know, you might want to, make sure that this will work because I'm telling you, I don't want any of that thunder with Billy. All right. I don't know, Chelsea. Like I said, I truly believe Adam's going to do something silly. Not that I want him to, but you guys, you're not going to last, right? I just don't see it. Who else? Yeah. Side note about fashion. I happen to note, again, this is me rewatching things. Sharon's crazy outfit, she had a brooch on the back of that lopsided collar thing. I said to my daughter, I'm like, is that a brooch on her back? She's like, yeah, Mom. I'm like, what is that? Why is it on her back? She's like, who's going to notice that, Mom? I said, I don't know, but I noticed it. What was that doing there? I don't know. If you did notice it, if you still have it, just go watch. It was noticeable when she was, I think when she was dancing with Nick. Whatever. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I don't know. That whole party thing, it was what it was. I don't know. Esther said a few choice words to Diane, and that was pretty much, outside of her "Long Live Mrs. C." She didn't really have much lines. I don't even know why she was there, but couldn't tell you. All right, further down, we saw Lily and her little self-righteous self with Damien. Once again, can you just fix Damien's clothes already? He just looks like he just is some, I don't know, Las Vegas. I couldn't tell you. Just all the wrong clothes. So they're at the club, and it was this whole thing about how he feels bad because, yes, he got fired. Although, did he really get fired? Maybe he did. I thought he just plumb left Aristotle, but to work with Lily and them. But okay, so he gets fired. Let's just leave it at that. And then because of that, he thought for whatever reason Holden would be able to take his place. Yeah, no, that's not happening because Holden himself gets fired as well. So at some point in time, Damien says to Lily, "Do you think by any chance there's a place that for Holden? Because I really feel bad, and I want to do him, do him right, because it's my fault." So Lily's like, "Well, actually, it's my fault because like I wanted you to play, like double agent." Okay, what is this, Inspector Gadget? Like, enough of this. Oh boy. So yeah, she's like, "I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to talk to Nate. I'll have to talk to Devon, whatnot, whatnot." Okay, so at some point in time, Holden comes in and Damien wants to speak to Holden. And he basically says, like he got fired. And Holden's fired as well. And Holden's like, "Yeah, man, I knew you'd do this to me. Like you went and threw me under the bus, and just for some girl that you hardly even know, and this is what you did to me." And he's like, "Dude, like we're friends, and you're like my best friend." And what he's like, "We're not friends. Like you did." Oh, he's like, "Well, I'm trying to get you a job over at Winter." "No, I don't. I'm not doing this." I'm thinking, no, he needs to go and be a bartender and make a bunch of Vespas. He'll make a killing. He seems to drink them so often. He should know how the mix is. Just saying. Yeah, and he just went off. Once again, he went off on Damien, and Damien couldn't say nothing. Absolutely nothing. But okay, who knows? We actually saw Holden because he would, after the initial like frustration and fury, he ended up like calls up Audra, asks Audra to meet him. And what does Audra do? She meets him. "Audra, I thought you had nothing with Holden. Like, you didn't even want to be around him. What's going on, Audra? Is there something you'd like to tell us?" Okay. So he's like, "Well, Audra, I didn't know who else to call. A while back you said you'd be my friend." What is going on with this? You'd be my friend. Audra, is that still, is that still open? Is that still on the table? You'd be my friend? And then she, reaches for his hand and she grabs his hand, like, oh, poor Holden. That's all I have to say. Okay. Backtrack a minute with back to the party, okay? So we saw at some point in time, Kyle, he had gone with Victor, well, met Victor at the bar at the club. So the party was down at in the Neil's jazz club, whatever, that thing down below, and then he was up at the club bar. Okay. Ooh, tongue tie. All right. So he basically stepped to Victor and said, "You know what? I have something in mind that would prove to you that I am like going to do right by your granddaughter, that I love her very much. And, you are in the business of contracts, and that's what, kind of thrills you. So, um, I'm going to offer you $5 million." I'm thinking, okay, to Victor, that's like $5, isn't it? Even Victor was like, $5 million. He's like, "I'm going to offer you $5 million so that I can love your granddaughter freely. And I will pay you that $5 million if I happen to break her heart. And if I break her heart, I will not only pay you, but I will leave town." So anyway, fast forward, because Claire saw like some sort of interaction between the two of them, but of course Kyle didn't say. And I'm thinking, side note to myself, oh, she's only worth $5 million. Okay, if you say so. I don't know. Did he break the piggy bank for this? I don't know. So once again, he's not giving him the $5 million, but that's the contract so that he can love her and that Victor won't be on his case, so that they have a contract between the two of them. If he breaks her heart, he gives him the $5 million and he leaves town for good. So Victor is like, oh, well, you know, I know you're going to break her heart. So in Victor's mind, this is going to be easy money. But of course, as you know, he's got Audra, in her, what was that? Like, almost like a magenta type dress. Very nice. I will give her that. Um, and she met Victor, and Victor said, look, you got to figure out how you're going to go and screw this up for Kyle, because I don't trust the guy and what have you. Basically, Audra, because she is dying to go to Nice, dying. So she basically was like, look, find a way to make sure that Kyle and I end up in Nice, and I will handle the rest. Will that happen? Absolutely. Will Kyle lose $5 million? Meh, don't know. I think that there's going to be some sort of, you know, maybe Claire finding out that Audra's up to something nefarious, and yeah, it's just going to be on like Donkey Kong. I don't know. Maybe it'll be like Popeye. I couldn't tell you. But we shall see where that's going to go. I don't think they're going to end up, going that far, but maybe in my head, maybe Victor may sit back and say, you see, Claire, he was willing to, he put a value on you, $5 million, and he was willing to pay me $5 million. I knew he'd break your heart. Oh, who knows? Because that's Victor embellishing, making it like this big like tsunami of a issue. That's just Victor. All right, what else did we see? Okay, we saw um, a bunch of Daniel and Tessa strumming on the guitar. They ended up somehow making a song together, just sitting there in the park. Okay, I'm kind of tired of this whole strumming on the guitar story, and yeah. So of course Tessa's like, yeah, something's going on with Mariah, and she just won't tell me. And she literally will. I'll wake up and I'll find her sitting, like on the bed, and she's not saying anything. And I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what's going on. Blah blah blah. Of course, Daniel's trying to help as best he can, but yeah, no. So at some point in time, um, Mariah comes, and Tessa meets her in the park, and she breaks out her guitar saying how her and Daniel made a song together, and she's like, basically, you want to hear it? Here it go. Because Mariah's like, yes. And she's like, bling, ding, 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 ding. Starts singing this song, and basically the song is like, I think it was something to the effect concerning Mariah, like, you ain't talking to me, it doesn't matter, whatever is wrong, you can tell me. And of course Mariah's like, and of course, Tessa is like, bing, bing, bing. Mariah, what's going on? You need to talk to me, Mariah. And Mariah's like, I can't. This is after Mariah had already had a conversation with Sharon, and how she was like, what? I can't talk to my wife. Like, what I've done is just so wrong. Did I not give you my prediction? I'm pretty sure I did. Prediction. And it's not going to be a solid one, okay? But it's like, it's almost like you're putting all the ingredients to make the bread, and you're kind of kneading it together, so we're waiting for the bread to finish cook. Okay, so this is how my prediction is that because we see Mariah do this whole daydream thing where a flashback, and she's remembering meeting this guy, and as far as I know, this guy was on the show previously years ago, but okay, neither here nor there. And she ends up having like drinks with this guy. And it got to a point where in one of her flashbacks, she like her and the guy, their hands meet. Okay, so this is part of my prediction is that this guy reminded her so much of Ian that she like has this need to almost like go back to those old ways, where she was completely bamboozled by Ian. Now, I know it doesn't make much sense, but perhaps on her whole, being away, maybe Ian popped up at some point in time. But I feel like she is at this point where she feels like she needs Ian, and she doesn't like the fact, of course, that this is how she feels. So I guess in her brain, it's like this betrayal of Tessa. Look, man, it's a set of craziness. That's why I said it's a bunch of like ingredients for the bread, but I haven't pinpointed it. Much like this whole Aristotle craziness, I'm still sticking to Cain, a new Cain, but I don't know. Everybody's going on about it's not who you think that it is, and I don't want to believe that they brought in some brand new character, like a new name. I want to think that it's like a refresh of an old character, but okay. So yeah, Mariah is sitting back, wailing over this. So much so, because backtrack, Sharon said to her, Mariah, like, talk to me. Did you happen to, basically, she asked if she stepped out on her marriage and, like had a one night stand. And she's like, no, Mom, what I did was way worse than a one night stand. Way worse. I'm thinking, oh, what did you do? Like, did you end up in jail? Like, did you shoot him up? I'm confused. What is going on? And so she basically tells Tessa that, she, was so consumed about Ian because he was just in her thoughts, and how she had a drink, then she had another drink, and she had another drink and another drink. And so Tessa's like, Mariah, did you get drunk? Is that it? I mean, we've all done it. I mean, I have. And I'm thinking, yeah, no, there's more, way more to this. But I don't think it's as, treacherous as Mariah is making it out to be. Okay, maybe you have this need to be with, under Ian's thumb. I don't know. But you're acting like there's this whole betrayal story. Like, I'm so confused. And I really wish they would just spew it out, because this little dabble here and dabble there, no, that ain't gonna cut it. Okay, so she ended up taking off on Tessa out of the park. She ends up, I believe it was at the coffee house. Yeah, I believe it was at the coffee house. Daniel shows up there, and he's like, yeah, so Tessa was telling me about blah, blah, blah. And she's like, really, Daniel? Like, she shouldn't have said anything to you, because that's like none of anybody's business. It's not any of your business, blah, blah, blah. Tessa walks in. She's like, Mariah, like, don't make me like follow you like this. And she's like, would you just leave me alone? Leave me alone. She's like, you're not helping. So she storms off. Tessa's like, oh. Who's there to console her? Her little knight in shining armor, Daniel. Oh, it's going to be on with the two of them. I can feel it. Speaking of Daniel, he ended up having this conversation with Phyllis, because once again, Phyllis, let's just call her, as I like to say, day late, dollar short. Side note with her, there was one point in time this week she was speaking with Nick. This was at Society. What they did with her makeup, she looked so bedraggled, and then right like on the corner of her eyes, the highlights were like so high that it looked like white under. It was dreadful. Oh, no, no, no. But then by the end of the week, she looked polished. What was going on that day? All right. Yeah, so she ended up speaking with Daniel about going to Nice. And Daniel's like, "Are you mad? Are you insane? What are you doing? Who knows if this person even exists? Like, this could be a complete wild goose chase. Why are you asserting yourself into a place where, quite frankly, you shouldn't be? You're not invited." Well, she's like, "Daniel, I'm doing this for us." Pardon, Phyllis? No, you have this need, this sick need to see who this person is. I mean, and she's like, "I'm going to make him love me. He's going to want to hire me." Okay, get your scruples together, Phyllis, because this is not a good look for you. Not at all. She went on to like beg Amanda to get on the list. Amanda basically apparently told her, "Yeah, okay, no problem." And yeah, so what was funny about this was at the end of the week, the last show, she ends up telling Nick that she's going to go to Nice because she'll be there. And this was when Phyllis was with Nick and Sharon. So this is how this come to be. Sharon, Nick had invited Sharon to go with him, be his plus one, if you will. And she first said, "Really? Okay." Then with this whole Mariah craziness, she ended up saying to Nick, "You know what? There's so much going on with my daughter. Can't do it. Not gonna do it." So he's like, "Come on, man." Like, basically, Mariah's a big girl, whatever. She's like, "No, it's my daughter. I can't do this." You know, unless she turns the corner to like be better, then no. So that's off the table for her. But it may end up being back on because, again, when they met at, I can't remember where they were, if it was society or the club, that's when Nick and Sharon were speaking to her, you know, had their little, little few words here and there about the party and Nikki's car and blah, blah, blah. And then the fact that Nick's going to Nice. And she's like, so then Sharon's like, "Oh, well, Nick can tell you all about it, when he comes back." She's like, "No need. I'll be there. I'm going." So Sharon's look on her face was like, and I'm thinking, are you going to forego your daughter to be able to go to Nice? What's really going on? So who knows? We shall see. Um, as Phyllis said, it's a bunch of heavy hitters going. Oh boy. Yeah. I think the side note, or the little side plate, was when we saw Amy and she was saying that she's made the decision to relocate to Genoa City. Okay, that was maybe like a somewhat of a feel good moment. I don't think that it needed to be there. It was that long and very unnecessary. Okay, great. And now she's already called Nate like her second son. Well, that's Amy for you. And Audra, she shed a few tears. You're like, okay, it was what it was. So really, that was the week for the most part. Again, Cole is on his last cough. I don't know. Mariah still has this secret. Once again, we still don't know about this Aristotle guy. Allegedly, Friday the 13th. Now everybody's like, is that bad? They're thinking like the Omen. Like, enough. Let's just figure this guy out and just move on with the story and just be done with it. All right, guys, that was pretty much the week, as I said. Uh, Not much to report because it was a bunch of dipsy doodling and craziness. So, can I say let's hope this week coming is much, much better? A girl can dream, can't she? Just saying. So if you stuck around to the end of this video, I'm so grateful as always. You know, I love you lots. I really appreciate your time. And once again, if you like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe and that bell notification. And I will see what is going to happen this coming week. And we'll discuss it on the next video. Bye, guys.